All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick shout out to the Clean Tea Company. They do these really good teas. This one is Japanese Central Green. It's banging. I gave Frank some last week. He's loving it. What do you miss to say?
She loved it, man.
She loved it as well,
yeah? She loved it. And I need to get some more, to be fair, because we literally ran out after a week. So
I'm going to speak to the boys, see if they can get your package sent out.
Yeah, please.
And also, they got this really, really nice flavour. This one's my favourite flavour. This one is sorrel, cinnamon, apple tea. I like mine with a bit of honey in it. Little Manuka honey, sweeten it up a bit. Banging. Shout out the Clean Tea Company, man. You lot are smashing it, doing well. And I'm loving the teas, man. You guys, order yours. They're doing 30% off as well. Get down there and order it, man. Well, not get down there. Jump online. Everything's online these days. Get online, order some of that tea. It's banging. Peace. And we're back with another episode of the On The Bench podcast, the #1 UK podcast show, West London based. And in today's episode on the bench, we got Mr. Sugar Sean in the building. He's back again.
Back again.
Chelsea man.
Yes.
He's happy they got Liam Delap. They're building.
I don't know if I'm happy, but we'll take it. Lick him up. I'm telling you. You better be licking in them goals, boy, if I can't, boy.
Lick him up.
I don't know, man.
And also on the bench today, we got Mr. Frankie Frank, a.k.a. Mr. Talk to Frank, the Christmas Grinch. Mr. Roy Keane's stepbrother.
Things haven't been great since the Europa League final.
Nah,
I'm telling you.
You let me down. We've discussed this, but
Yeah, I've been seeing the pods,
yeah, they let me down, bro. But he's happy today. Links with Jokeres.
Yeah.
Did I say his name right?
Yeah, Jokeres, you got
I
right.
don't think a Bumo's come, but we're gonna get into this on the episode. But yeah, before we start off, we're gonna do a quick tribute. Frank's gonna do a quick tribute.
Before we start, all of us from On The Bench podcast would like to send our sincere condolences to Uriah Rennie's family and friends. Sadly, he was the first black referee to referee in the Premier League, refereed over 300 games. Sadly, passed away yesterday. So, as I said, from all of us on the On The Bench podcast, we'd like to send our sincere condolences to everyone involved, and rest in paradise, sir.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. So we're gonna touch on some transfer news first. Obviously, the season's finished. Like we were just saying, they got Liam. Chelsea's got Liam Delap. You not happy?
Not really. I don't mind him as a backup. I don't mind if he's there as a squad filler. But then, how many squad filler strikers do you need in a position where you're only playing one striker? We only play one striker. We play two wingers. So why do you need a third? Because I want someone to start for this team. I don't want Liam Delap starting for Chelsea. That's not a Premier League challenging kind of transfer for us. So it's like, if we want to make steps towards challenging for the title, we was in that predicament last year, obviously fell off. Like, maybe it was a bit of a false thing where we were. But if you're going to be back challenging, I think Delap's all right as a second choice, but I think he's hungry right now to want to be first choice. Obviously, competition, it drives him to want to try and be #1, and it could up his levels. In the future, he might be a better striker, and we might benefit from that. And that's what our whole philosophy, I think, has been with what we've been doing. The players that we've signed recently in the past couple of days that we've got over the line, and we just signed that Strasbourg boy today.
Saar as well, you got him.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm just like, I'm not convinced of the signings. I'm very annoyed. Like, I've been holding spaces daily about the transfer signings and the things that who we've been linked to and stuff like that, and who we could have been linked to. So yeah, I think Delap's good as a backup striker, but I think we still need to sign a premium striker.
So you're going with Nicholas Jackson first choice?
I don't know who I would pick out of both of them, to be honest. That's how mad it is. But both of them would be a second choice, regardless.
Yeah. Serious.
So it's like, whoever that is on the bench, they're a second. It's between them two. I need to get a first choice striker in the door.
You guys are being linked with Ekatike, aren't you?
Ekatike has been linked.
He's expensive though, isn't he?
A lot of money for what they're quoting, especially for what his value was before the start of the year. He's had a great year, don't get me wrong, but Marmoush kind of done basically that same number. I think he done the same numbers as the full season of Ekatike for the half season that he played with him at Frankfurt. So
to be fair, Marmoush has been hit the ground. He's at the ground running at City.
If you look at his numbers throughout the whole season, across the whole season, he's on crazy numbers.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But Ekatike, he's young in it, but I've had a look at him. I don't know if he's necessarily, again, like I said, I don't think he's ready. I don't know if he's the greatest striker of the ball. So it's like, I don't like when I look at players and they can't strike a ball.
Yeah,
I looked
agree.
at Marmoush
I
and I
agree.
said, Marmoush, I said, yo, this guy,
He's cold. isn't he?
killer. Julian Alvarez, before he signed
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Man City,
yeah.
I said, yo, this guy can shoot, he can hit a ball. You just want someone that can thump a ball, you know? Like, I don't like
No, I
these,
agree.
I don't like these fancier kind of players that ain't necessarily good finishers, like Havertz. Why would I want Havertz? You can have him.
Right, cool. While we're in the Chelsea zone, you'll also be linked to Borussia Dortmund winger Gittins.
Yeah.
And there's another link with Garnacho, one of Frank's boys.
Yeah, we've been linked with Garnacho for a while now. That's been floating around. But the Bino Gittins thing obviously got rejected for the 35
Yeah, they got-
million-ish
yeah,
or
got-
30-ish million. 30 million euros?
Yeah, they won over 40 million.
They want over 40 million
Yeah.
euros. And how, funny enough, I went to a Dortmund game, Chelsea Champions League, just before we didn't qualify for it anymore. And my brethren was talking to someone outside. He was trying to chat up this bird outside. But it was Bino Gittins' sister.
No way.
Yeah. So when he just was on the scene and was like a squad player, just being a sub, that's when I kind of already knew of him anyway. But it's like I've been having keeping an eye on him anyway because he's English anyway and he's young.
He came
So
through
I
the
thought-
City Academy as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but I just feel like these German teams are trying to extort.
Yeah, of
England.
course they
It's
are.
It's like trying to sell China, or like rice.
Yeah.
Why would you try to sell China?
What, Declan
rice?
or?
Yeah, Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to extort an Englishman back to us?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. They've already just signed, and now they think they've done another thing and signed Joey Bellingham.
Joe
thinking that he's
Joe
gonna be
Bellingham.
Jude
Yeah.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
I don't know
But
why.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you not
I agree.
What do you think about that quickly?
I listen.
Him going back. You should have stayed. Do you reckon he should have stayed with Sunderland?
I was having this conversation with my mate today at work.
yeah.
I completely disagree with that. Look, I get Borussia Dortmund are in the Champions League. I get it. They are in the Champions League, right? Next season. They
think
must
they
be.
are,
I'm
yeah.
sure they are. Yeah. So, yeah, I was gonna say, but play Premier League football, man. You've just come up with Sunderland. You've had a good season with them. Go and establish yourself in England, and in a year from now, you could have your pick of a lot of clubs if you do well again. If you don't do well, okay, go away to another team, or if they get relegated, go to your Dortmunds or whatever abroad. But the Premier League's the Premier League, man. 38 games. Go and test yourself at the top level.
At the top level.
Do you know what the thing is though? It's like when you're young, it's like at the moment, this is what I mean about the young players. If you get given the chance in the Premier League to just start off, now this is just being devil's advocate a little bit, but this is like if you start off now and you don't hit the ground running in the Premier League how it is nowadays, they're so onto you from early that if you do not do anything early, then you kind of get written off, your value goes down.
That's true.
Most of these people that are going abroad, like Bino Gittins, he probably wouldn't even be in a bottom 3 or 4 team in this league, and
That's true. That's a good
he
point.
probably wouldn't be in that team, and he wouldn't do well. And just like how you've got at Southampton, the boy
Diblin.
Diblin, like his value's not really going up because he's playing Premier League football, but is his value gone up? He's been appreciated as the best player in his team, but has his value gone up? So it's like they want to go over abroad. It's easier as well. Like a lot of these other nations are easier to play in. Like Scott McTominay's gone and won a league title.
Yeah.
Like Anguissa has gone over there and he's gone over. Like there's players that have gone over there that haven't been rated in these teams.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, gone
I
over
rated
to.
Scott McTominay.
Yeah, like Scott was a decent player, but like
Billy
this
Gilmore.
is the kind of value they don't feel valued, and like that's why Connor's gone over to America, gone over to
Atletico,
Atletico.
yeah.
That's why, like I said, Bino Gittins has gone over there, and I don't know. I think it's a good thing because Germany, Italy, they're not. I don't think they're up to the standards.
No, they're
recently
not.
nowadays.
No, they're not.
I don't think they
Yeah,
are.
they're not. They're not.
Falling off a lot.
And that's why people go in France as well, Strasbourg. That's where we feel that.
You
That's
got
where,
an Andre
that's where we
Santos
feed
boy.
our team. Yeah, because we've got Andre Santos coming back, but that's where we've put out players to try and have a stepping stone as well. But Germany, Italy, and France for me, they're not up to the standards of England and Spain.
When does Esteval join you guys?
He joins us just after the Club World Cup. We're letting him
So
play.
for next season, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch him play. Actually,
That's the one signing. That's why I'm like, Bino Gittins. I'm like,
yeah.
if we need a left winger, there's so like Nico. Like if you're looking at the model, of what we're trying to buy young players that are going to have resale value. It's more to do with, I'd say, resale value in the future so they can get their money back or more. But Nico Williams it fits that model. He's got resale value in the future. You're spending 30-40 million quid on this guy. What's really going to cost you?
Another
for
10, 15,
obviously, the wages is what they demand for wages is obviously what it is, and this is why we gave out those like 9-year contracts because a 260 a week we can facilitate for 130 over 9 years rather than 260 on 4 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So 4.5 years. So it's like
So you wouldn't take Garnacho?
Nah. I wouldn't have Garnacho.
Not at all.
Really, you wouldn't take Garnacho in your team?
I wouldn't even take Garnacho now.
Cheers.
I would have if you told me whom I have in Garnacho or Sancho.
Yeah.
That's a struggle for me. And
No, come on.
I'm telling you.
Serious?
Nah, Garnacho over Sancho any day of the
who
week.
you rate
Any
him
day of the
more?
week. Oh, what's Garnacho or Sancho?
Yeah.
Garnacho all day. You see that? You see Garnacho?
Wait, let me rephrase that. At their best.
Garnacho.
Sancho.
You know what it is of Garnacho?
Sancho at
You
his
see,
best.
yeah, but
That's demon
yeah, but
time
when
at
was the last
Dortmund.
time you saw that
Champions League.
Garnacho at his best?
No, we're saying at their best. Sancho's
Yeah,
balling
but-
now.
okay.
Sancho's way better than
Yeah,
way
but-
better. He's better than Garnacho. No way.
At their best, but how often does their best come around?
But we're speaking about at their best.
Yeah, but as in who would you? Okay, well at their best, maybe I don't know who performs better at their best, but for me, I think Garnacho would find more consistency in a Chelsea team than what Sancho has.
It's just with Garnacho his finishing recently.
Yeah, but
Frank, it's
I agree. I 100% agree with you.
It's terrible. And
Yeah, no,
Sancho's
you're right.
been scoring a couple. He's starting to at least kind of open up with his shooting from outside the box.
Physically, he's not
Obviously,
there,
we've
though.
let him go in it. We're telling him, safe. We'll pay the 5 million, but.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I've seen them both play at my club, right? And Garnacho was a lot younger. He burst through it when he was 18 at United. I've seen him terrorize defenses a lot more than Sancho. I've seen us a goal down with like half an hour, 40 minutes left, or whatever. Garnacho comes on and he just changes the game. And then I've seen us a goal down and Sancho comes on and it's just no better.
Yeah, but then it goes down to system, it goes down to manager, it goes down to mental. He wasn't happy.
For everything that Sancho had done at Chelsea, Garnacho would have done twice as good.
No,
I'll
but
tell you.
it goes down to a lot of factors. Sancho wasn't happy.
Yeah,
at Man
but
United.
but he's always unhappy though. But this is what I'm sick and tired of hearing.
When he was balling it, obviously,
Yeah, but
just Germany.
even at Dortmund, listen. By the way, even Dortmund, he had trouble at. By the way, like at the first spell, even at Dortmund, he turned up late to training a couple of times. They weren't really entirely happy with him. But obviously on the pitch, he's producing, and it's a weaker league. But you know what? I've told you this about Martinelli as well. The one thing I like about players, certain players, is that not give up attitude, that won't give up attitude, that tenacity. And Garnacho's got that a lot more than Sancho.
But that doesn't make you. It's good professionally wise, but it doesn't make you a good player.
Listen, my opinion is Garnacho over Sancho all day of the week. That's my opinion.
Based on what? Over his professionalism or talent?
Talent, technically speaking, Sancho is better.
Okay.
Technically speaking, as a footballer, but to me, I look past that. I look past just the technical ability. I want to see, willpower. I want to see, aggression. I want to see tenacity. I want to see all, especially in the Premier League. You need that.
Don't get me wrong. For my team, obviously, what our manager. This is why I didn't understand the sign of Sancho, because he wants direct wingers. So Garnacho fits our model way more than Sancho. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Garnacho probably would do better at Chelsea.
Yeah, he would.
Than what he would.
Explosive.
But because Sancho wants teams that play with like say 2 10s, where someone could go and drift off over to him, pop the ball off to him 1-2, and let him try and run in behind. That's the Sancho we saw at Dortmund. Pop the ball off, go on the overlap, get a little bit of a early run time, because he's not the fastest of players in 1v1.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people about things like. I was having the debate today about Lamine Yamal and Cole Palmer with my brother, and Tommy's fixated on the fact that Cole Palmer still now is better than Lamine Yamal. And I'm just like,
Tommy boy.
I'm like, Tommy, you need to rattle your head, because it's like I said to him, like with Cole Palmer, there's certain levels of ability that if you can beat people as a forward, you remember you got to run past people. This is what forwards get paid to do. If you beat people like that and you've got that ability, you're on a different type of expectation and level of beating defenders rather than the technical sided players that are manipulating from a bit further deeper and can. It's a different kind of mental kind of thing. Obviously, you rate the mental kind of game and being able to put people off and drop shoulders, and all of that comes into play. But I'm saying Lamine's got near enough all of that in his locker anyway.
And he can score bangers.
He's
They both can score bangers. But I'm just saying, like, when you possess like that natural speed, you need to have speed. If Kylian Mbappe wasn't fast, Kylian Mbappe would not be the best player in the world.
No, of course not.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? You have to have certain natural abilities with it.
That's correct. You just mentioned the name and I thought about him earlier. Mbappe. What's happened to him? With like the Ballon d'Or.
Been amazing this year.
Yeah,
no,
good
but
season
I'm
from
saying
Madrid.
but like
Broke the record for the opening season for a Real Madrid
he's been
striker.
good.
He broke it. He broke. Okay, fair enough.
His
Zamorano's
name's
record,
not in that Ballon d'Or conversation at all. And I feel
yeah.
like
Because they didn't win anything.
I don't think it deserves to be in it.
No, but I'm saying
individually. I know
we
what you mean.
expected him to be. Remember, it was like you had Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe. Do you understand what I'm
you
saying?
think he'd
Like,
be in a top 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, you expected to hear his name, but he was meant to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's gone to Real Madrid. You thought he's going to be the next Ballon d'Or winner. He's not even in the conversation.
And probably in an easier year for him to probably try and get into it, especially with the fact that France had the opportunity to get something in the Nations League. So to have his name thrown out in that. Obviously, you've got the Club World Championships coming up, so he's got an opportunity to throw in that. He had the league. So for him to, it's just that, unfortunately, Rafinha's had the year he's had at Barcelona this year. Lamine Yamal's had the year that he's had. Dembele will probably win the Ballon d'Or now because Lamine had to win that Nations League.
That's exactly what I said last
He needed
week.
that just to showcase that he'd won something this year. Because once it comes to November, they're going to be saying, well, his numbers weren't great. He won the league, won obviously treble and stuff like that. But did he win a major trophy?
Like either Champions League or
because otherwise you're in the same predicament as Mo Salah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mo Salah put up crazy numbers this year.
Yeah.
He ain't even sniffed that in the Ballon d'Or.
Not anymore.
Crazy numbers. So
is Mo Salah in the conversation still?
Not anymore.
He's not even in the conversation. You've got to remember, Lamine Yamal's numbers this year has got I think he's got 23 GA, so he's got 15 goals in the league and 8 in assists. Obviously in the Champions League and everything else.
17 as well.
It's a lot different. 17 obviously is the consideration, but we can't give Ballon d'Ors just for ages.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So it's like you have to still showcase what you've done in the year. And for me, it's like, Lamine had that opportunity if he won the Nations League, but Dembele for me now is, even though and Dembele in a way, he's kind of got away with it because for the French team, obviously kind of shied away. Obviously against Arsenal, done really well. Final, he had his assists as well, but I just wanted him to score. If he scored, it would cement it, I think, for me in the final. If he
do you know what?
I think he won that.
We had this conversation last week. I just look at it objectively, Ousmane Dembele winning a Ballon d'Or. Like I don't know, man.
It's football though at the
but
moment.
Then
it's where football is.
But then it puts the pressure on Kylian Mbappe and people like Lamine now to now have to showcase year on now.
Yeah, I guess so.
They now have to step up the levels now because Kylian Mbappe and Vinny Jr. are supposed to be. Remember, Real Madrid's a Galactico team. Barcelona have built back from being nobodies. Financial crisis. Frankie de Jong weren't playing well at the time. He weren't even in the squad. Their back line looked feeble. They had 17-year-olds playing in the back. Inigo Martinez came in for them. They had the least goals conceded in the league. They had 20 goals conceded. They won a league title. Real Madrid come back, won the league title. They've responded again with Lamine Yamal's year. Rafinha, they've won the league back. So it's like, now it's time for Kylian Mbappe and Yamal. They need to step up and say, right, Ballon d'Ors now.
See, I think it's going to be, I think Doué is going to be up there.
Do you think?
I think he's just going to get better. And one name I'm going to drop, even though it's really, really early at the moment, but I think in the next year or two is going to be... there's two names that I'd like people to consider is Ryan Cherky, depending on how he settles in at Man City, because I think he's just got ridiculous talent, that boy. You saw what he done. And Mastan Tuono, who I think Real Madrid are going to buy now.
I think he's already kind of gone there.
Yeah, he looks like a proper player, and he's 17 going on 18, but what a player this kid is going to be, man. I'm a big fan.
I heard you mention him on the last one.
Yeah, he's some player, man.
Who's your Ballon d'Or winner this year?
This year, it has to be Dembele.
No, not who do you think should win it? Not who it has to be. I haven't asked you.
Yeah, it has to be Dembele. I mean, who else is there really? I mean, it is between. For me, if it was my opinion, I'd have to give it to Yamal still, because I feel like he is the most talented, the most gifted player out there. You can see his body's starting to fill out, even though he's only 18. He's just got like ridiculous talent. Although Nuno Mendes clamped him differently yesterday, man. Yeah, is there anyone that Nuno Mendes doesn't clamp?
He's clamped everybody. The top
right, Salah, Saka.
Do you know the maddest thing is?
Not
many people spoke about Nuno Mendes even throughout that whole PSG run. Really, you got to remember, like pre-Champions League, only because of Nations League, we're watching Nations League, but. When you're looking at that Champions League run, not many people still spoke about Nuno Mendes, and people people need to really understand that he's probably the best left back.
He is, 100% he is.
You got Alphonso Davies, you got him, and then you got Cucurella.
Yeah, no, he's up there. I think he's. Listen,
but he had a good game considering that their back four was.
He's top 3, top 5, Cucurella for me now, because
in the world at the moment,
mate, you can't get past the guy.
My brother hates Cucurella.
Nah, you can't get past him.
Why?
He crashes Cucurella. He just crashes into people. Tommy, him getting to people fast is. The main thing, defenders get to people, they irritate people. Like when Saka,
he has Saka in his pocket.
He has Saka in his pocket a few times, bro. So it's like that's what you want left backs to do. But Mendes up and down, he's different grade.
Well, see, that's just it. Defensively, he's solid. He's an athlete. Yeah. But do you see his goal yesterday?
Yeah.
That's a proper hit. That's a striker's finish.
I was in the barbers today. They was like, "What? Why can't he win the Ballon d'Or?" They were saying.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how people get gassed over such a short period of time. Yeah. You got to judge it whole season. Also, you remember the time of the year when they'd give Ballon d'Ors before was like December. So it's like you're getting a calendar year. So you're getting 3 months as well for the start of the year. So I don't know, but now they've changed it. So you look at the season, no major trophies other than the Nations League. Can't really give it to a Portuguese player.
No.
Vitinha, obviously, we have to give props to Vitinha though.
They're saying he's the best midfielder.
What happened to him at Wolves? God knows what happened to him at Wolves.
Bro,
It's crazy, isn't it?
You got to respect all three of them because we got to see showcased on hand that PSG midfield yesterday in the final.
Yeah.
All three of them. João Gomez, João Neves.
Even though I don't know why
Vitinha,
João never
and
started
Fabian
at right back, man. That's just such a
I don't know
weird...
what they're doing there.
Yeah,
but
you got a natural right back on the bench as well. Yeah.
But they're there in it for a reason, and that's why they're the top players.
Yeah.
All right, so my winner, I think Lamar as well. Who are you gonna go? Who do you think should?
You think Lamar?
Should I want him to win it? Yeah, he's giving me. Do you know why I say that as well? He's giving me more memorable moments this year.
I would pick Lamine.
Well,
Me personally, I pick Lamine. But how they have to give it to someone?
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be given to Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah.
All right, sick. Just back to the transfer news quickly. Man United. So Frank's gonna be happy now, isn't it?
Brian.
It's not gone through yet.
We had this conversation earlier in a WhatsApp group. So basically, obviously they're gonna get Gyökeres. It seems like. I don't see them getting Gyökeres and Mbeumo.
Why don't you see us getting them?
I can't. Do
you know what?
I don't see it happening.
I've got to drop it. On the channel. So he goes, I can't see you getting Mbeumo. So they should have gone to Specsavers then, mate.
No, I can't.
Mbeumo's already basically gone there, no? Yeah. Rastafari.
No, listen. They're in talks. They're in the talks now are about how to structure the deal. It's not about agreeing a fee or anything. It's about how to structure the deal. So what's the down payment? What's the add-ons?
So you reckon you're gonna get both of them? This transfer.
I can't see that. I think Gyökeres, we need to sell.
Yeah.
We do need to sell.
And that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've got a couple of deals potentially, hopefully going through in the next few weeks. But I think there's a very good chance that we get Mbeumo and Gyökeres as well as Cunha.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So all right, so you get those three.
Yeah.
How's your team set up now? Because you're gonna have Gyökeres starting.
Diallo definitely gonna play 10.
What's Bruno gonna go in?
You're playing at 8. Next to either Ugarte or we might bring in another centre midfielder.
Or is he effective more forward?
He done it. Well, you want him more in the 10.
Where would you want him? That's what I'm saying. How would you structure the team?
Listen, for me,
where's he more effective as well? This is the thing, because it starts to change the dynamics of your team now. He was effective in that 10 last season. Is he going to be as effective in that 8 position?
He played a lot of games in the 8 last season. A lot of games, and he got a lot of goals and assists from that 8 position.
So you reckon he'll be cool there?
I think he'll be all right there, and I feel like it'll be good for him. It will take a bit of burden off his shoulders to create when you've got players like Cunha there, when you've got players like Mbeumo there, when you've got players like Gyökeres who can create his own chance and score rather than relying on service all the time. Yeah. And obviously you've got Ahmad on the potentially right wing back position, who can also create himself. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more balance to the team in an attacking sense. Which
do you think Diallo's going to be playing as a right wing back?
Yeah, he will. He's actually better at right wing back than at the 10 because when and this is the thing I mentioned to you in the final as well, when he faces the opposition, when he's got the back to the opposition, it's harder for him he's got the ability to turn and everything, but it's harder for him to affect the game. But when he's facing opposition and running at them, he's almost unstoppable at times.
Yeah, but don't you think that the three at the back kind of thing nowadays, even then you're passing to the wing backs, even they're kind of back to goals still sometimes a lot of the time.
Are you talking about defensive wise?
No, well, when you're in possession and you obviously split and they go up, if I'm a wing back, I'll probably be facing to my defenders as well. So you're probably going to be facing. It's not like you're going to be facing forward. Obviously, if he drops in deep and starts from deep, you'll be able to pop off of the defenders. But if this is what I mean about Amorim. I don't know what Amorim's on because I'm like, the system and stuff like that. If he likes his centre halves to have the ball, like if you look at the passes that
he does,
they had in against Tottenham, I think Luke Shaw and all that they had crazy amounts of passes. So if they have possession and the wing backs are pushed up, I still think he'd be probably facing towards the defenders. So I don't know. It depends, isn't it?
But then that's the job of the 10 to then either drop deeper or take another defender inside or take them wide. This is why you're right. I know what you're saying. It's difficult, but it's all about cohesion within the team. It's about knowing who's where and what, because you need to have a centre back, right? The channel centre backs need to be able to defend up and down. You know what I mean? Like you can't have Maguire out wide, because you can't get to the ball quick enough.
So your midfield 3 would consist of Ugarte, Kobe, and Fernandes.
It would just be 2. It won't be 3.
Just 2.
Yeah, just 2.
So Ugarte and Bruno.
Yeah, for now, potentially, yeah.
I don't know,
yeah, of course
man.
it is.
Because,
but this is why we're looking for another midfielder that can do everything, and all action midfielder.
So do you think Ugarte is a failure?
At the moment, I wouldn't say he's a failure, but I wouldn't say he's a success.
So you'd have him as a sub. If you were to get someone that could
Yeah,
come in and do
I
something.
would, because for me, if you're buying someone, they need to start. You can't be buying back up to. No disrespect, I like Ugarte, but you can't be buying back up to Ugarte.
Yeah.
Because back up to Ugarte is not the level we need. We
Yeah,
need
because I
someone
don't
better.
think I don't think that works. Because even in the final, like when they played Bruno Fernandes in the 8, he was basically he was
Yeah,
non-existent.
yeah, no, he had a
Hardly
bad
any
game.
touches.
That's
So
the
I
worst
don't
game
know.
I've seen Bruno have for a very, very long
tired,
time.
bro.
Because then the forwards is going to consist of. So if you've got Diallo right wing back, you're going to have Gokares.
No, remember,
And
Ahmad's
Bremo.
going to be right wing back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right wing back. So your forwards are going to be Gokares. So if you're playing the 5, so if you're playing the 3, the 2 wing backs,
Yeah.
your 2 midfielders, you're going to have 3 in the forward line. So you're going to have central forwards.
Mbeumo
And Mbeumo is a kind of that's why I like the Mbeumo signing for them if they play that system, because that's the hybrid kind of play he wants.
He can go out.
And if he wants to play forward at the back, he can play as a right winger if he wants to. Anyway,
What you need, obviously, it's a very attacking formation.
Very.
The way that
of
Amram
course
wants to
it is.
play, he wants to have 5 players pushing up.
Yeah, of course.
Because remember one thing as well, you've got your wing back, so that's 2. You've got your striker, that's 3. You've got your 10s, that's 5.
Just go.
But he also wants at least one of the 8s to push up as well. So that's 6.
So
But this
Bruno.
is why you need to channel defenders. This is what I'm saying. Athletic defenders who can recover, and you need another 8 in there who can be box to box as well to get back. So essentially, in Amarim's system, the wing backs they get subbed a lot. Because you're exerting a lot of energy, up and down, and this is why you need to have the right players, technically, physically.
It's either gonna backfire and you're gonna get a lot of
potentially.
injuries.
Yeah, potentially.
You could have like what's his name? Postecoglou.
Postecoglou.
Sorry.
But remember, we got no European football this season, so that might give us a week to recover every.
But you might have one of those situations where you're getting a lot of injuries. They're up and down. Bruno's up and down.
But he tends to sub his wing backs a lot after like 60 minutes. Maybe not for Man United, but
so
at
who's
Sporting.
gonna be your
was
left
doing
wing
that.
back?
So you've got Dorgu, you've got Dalot can play there, Mazraoui can play there.
Dalot, though.
Yeah. But he'll play a lot. Dalot will play a lot.
But then you're in a situation.
I think he's going to rotate with Mazraoui
Yeah.
as the right wing back.
And you
with
got
Amad Diallo.
Mazraoui.
I don't think
Mazraoui.
Amad Diallo will always. Play
I think
right
Mazraoui will play a lot of centre back rather than he'll play wing back at times as well if need be.
Centre back.
Yeah, he'll
You
play
lot
centre
would
back a
be
lot.
that would be absolutely tragic.
You think so?
If they
He's
played
been good.
Dorgu,
He's been good.
If you had your back line as Torgu,
It will be
Maguire.
Maguire will be the middle centre back
yeah. So Dorgu, you got what you bringing back in Lisandro Martinez.
or Hayden Heaven. He's been quality for us
Yeah,
when
I
he's
don't
played.
think Heaven's going to get minutes.
No, he will.
If
He will.
Leach, I don't think he'll start. It'll be Leacher in it. If Leach is back, is Leacher back?
It's knee ligament, so he'll be back for pre-season. Hopefully, they're trying to
Yeah.
get him back for like
Euros
July,
as well.
August.
Euros.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Euros
So the back
class.
3 would be Euro, Maguire, Leacher, and then your wing backs would be Dorgu and thing. But like who? So if Mazraoui drops in for one of them, who does Mazraoui drop in for? Lenny Euro.
Probably, but he'll rotate. That's what I'm saying. He'll rotate a lot.
It's just that
He
left
will
wing,
rotate.
that left hand, that right hand side for you, like, I think would look dreadful.
What defensively? You mean?
Yeah, Mazraoui playing as a
We'll see.
centre back. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Right, other transfer news. Arsenal, we're linked to, I think we've agreed or something. It's this Sesko guy or someone I was reading earlier.
What's your thoughts on Sesko?
Good player, isn't it? He's been in rotation with his first team minutes, so it's like not every game he's popping off. Like it's like he's a player that has been at Stamford Bridge. I've seen him play at Stamford Bridge, and he was all right. He looks like a player that can work things out for himself, can bring himself into play. Has he been at the best team possible to be? Thank the Lord. 2-1. Sorry guys, I've got a bit on right now. I'm sorry guys, but yeah, with him he can bring in players. Remember when we played against him, he was very young. So some players are never going to be generational, where they're going to be exceptional throughout their whole career. Like from when you're 16, 17, 18, you're not going to be world class until you're 31. Like it's not everyone's going to be like that. So maybe he might be coming into his own now as a bit more of a mature player. He's been about the systems. He's been about different teams. I think, and as well he can strike a ball. Like I said, I like players who can strike a ball. And I think with Arsenal, they lack that.
We've been lacking that.
You've had
Declan
obviously
Rice.
you're putting Marino in the Ghost 9 stuff, and it's like, come on, like you need to have even Havertz. I always said about him, he can't strike a ball.
Yeah, he can't.
Marino's playing in there. He's not really a striker. Don't get me wrong, he's had a couple good strikes recently.
He's
even
not
for
a
his team.
Rasta. He's not
But
a man that's
yeah,
gonna
like
Rasta.
You know, Rasta.
Yeah.
It's you're Rasta. I think to myself sometimes I need to talk how I talk, like how I'm in the end. Rasta,
He's a Rasta, bro.
No, but I agree, man. I agree. Look, even like Wayne Rooney, that was one of his best skills when he first came into the team. He could just slap a ball.
I've said to these lot already, I've said it multiple times. Arsenal signed someone like Gyökeres, Sesko, Victor Osimhen, or anyone that have premium signing.
Yeah.
You lot are winning the league personally for me.
I wanted Osimhen. That's what
You wanted.
I want Osimhen, man.
See, I have to say, Victor Osimhen will. Okay, 300k a week, 300. Okay, I understand it's very expensive, but he will win you the league.
100%.
He will 100% win Arsenal the league.
Savage.
Do you know what it is with that guy?
Right place, right time.
Have you ever had a concern about wages at Arsenal?
Not really.
Well,
Exactly.
I
Do
saw
you
recently.
overpay people?
Yeah, Havertz is on what? Havertz
285.
Yeah, like Havertz is one of the highest paid. But like, if you've got players like him that's there, but very few amount of players that are on that kind of wage. We have Raheem Sterling. Like, this is what annoys me. I'm like,
300
we
bags
got
or
him.
something,
He's on like 400 bags.
400 bags.
With his bonuses.
Serious?
I'm telling you, he's on about 400 bags. So, yeah, exactly. You can get a lot of.
You got to start hitting that bomber club button now, man. You got to start hitting a bomber club.
You get it, but it's like, for Arsenal, I'm like, they don't really have a wage structure like that way it puts them out of pocket if they put someone on an extra 150 bag.
Ozil was on 350.
You telling me that you can't supplement a player that you probably got in your squad that you don't really need 100 bags, get him off the books and say, right, you know what,
Completely
it's
agree.
100 bags. It's going to go on the 160, 70 bags that we were going to give or offer to this premium striker. Now it makes it 270. Now you're guaranteed getting him. So just get him because Arsenal are a striker away from winning the league.
100%.
I agree.
Who would you reckon Osimhen would win us the league?
Any striker, any of them three. Any of them three. You look good enough with Gabriel Jesus when he was fit, let alone if someone who's a hitter.
Do you know what? I don't think Sesko's going to do it for us. But then I'm questioning Arteta. And do you know what? To be honest, his signings are not that bad. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not bad.
He's made good signings. Come on.
Yeah, like they're not as bad as people think. This is the thing with Arsenal fans. We're always questioning.
You're
when
never
he
going to
does
have
something.
it. You're never going to have all bangers. Like I've seen the list of Edu Gaspar's like transfer signings over the years, but most of this team that he's even got now is still a part of the top like side. Like they've made them signings.
Yeah.
Like their starting 11 now are their signings.
Yeah, of course.
And they've gone from you got to remember Arsenal were banter, so they've gone from that to they should win that league.
That's what I'm
People
saying.
expected them to win the league. So when you're in a position to be expected to win a league,
Tells you a lot.
that's who you are. My team ain't expected to win the league.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of swear words. So
There you go.
I feel like a lot of those. But it's like I want to be expected to win the league, even if I don't win the league, because next year I should be able to rebuild back and win the league or challenge for the league at least.
Where are you expecting to finish this season, coming into the season? If you add a few more, do you want to add more to the team?
Well, obviously Esteval comes in. He definitely upgrades us, I think, out wide. So
Do you think he'll hit the ground running, Esteval?
yeah, I like him massively.
Yeah.
I think he's a top talent. So it's like, him.
He plays from the right as well, didn't he?
Plays on the right. Cole Palmer could play on, but then he's also a player that can play in a 10. So it's like,
Okay.
if we need to now fizzle out Madueke,
Yeah.
or to be fair, Madueke, I think this is why they've put Sancho back to Man United, because I think next year they've started to play Madueke and Neto on the left. They're going to try and probably, I don't know how they're going to get rid of Mudryk, but find a way to be able to sell him,
We dodged a bullet.
because I don't know how we're going to be able to get
I
rid of him.
disagree. I think it would have been good for you lot.
No.
I think it would have been good for Arsenal.
But them two now, I think, are the plan of getting them out. Noni Madueke, Pedro Neto, backup left wingers, and from now on we get to play Esteval on the right hand side. And obviously, if Esteval gets injured, you bring Madueke back over to the right, and then you got Cole Palmer as a float. Like you could then swap Cole Palmer and Esteval,
Yeah.
because people argued that Cole Palmer's better on the right than he is in the 10. So you've got that option then. So yeah,
Were you happy to
I
finish?
got Frank. Why are you calling me? No, I'm joking. But then I've got a mate that's called Frank. Sorry guys, I got a guy who's calling me called Frank, and he never phones me really.
Yeah.
So it's very coincidental that Frank's on the table and Frank's calling me. But yeah,
Were you happy to finish? Where you finish league this year coming up?
I think if we sign a right centre back, I think if we sign a first team striker, we could potentially finish third. I'd say. I think third.
You're going for third.
Well, we finished fourth this year. I think if with Man City, they're so gassed, and this is like a good segue to Man City because they're gassed about Reinders. They love the fact that Reinders there, Cherky's there.
Their fans, you mean?
Yeah, their fans are gassed about these players. So obviously you got Marmoush in there hitting the ground running now, and now you've got Reinders. They think that Reinders is their replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. They think he's the best player in Serie A, all this kind of stuff. So they think Reinders is there, Cherky's there. They think that is good enough.
No, but then they signed the Wolves.
Ait Nouri.
Yeah, obviously Ait Nouri as well. But it's just for me and they're trying to target Livramento as well. So it's like they think that wins them the league, but I genuinely think that team. I don't know if they're challenging for a title.
You think you don't think they'll be back?
As well. Remember,
Rodri is massive contributional, and I've been a big advocate of the fact that Man City clearly need to rely on Rodri being fit, and he has to play. So I just don't know. I feel like certain teams, they go through their generational run of where they win their titles, they dominate, and then maybe 1 or 2 league titles they might be able to pick off in like 6-year periods after that. But I don't know if they're better than Arsenal for me. I think Arsenal are designing away from making it click,
100%.
whereas there is like they've signed a lot of quality. Can they make this work? Can Pep make it work? Cherky is one of those players like he could be turned into a demon from Pep. Like Pep can turn people like Cherky. People look at Cherky, they think he's not like quick and mobile.
No, he is.
They see him as like a shorter, stubbier kind of guy. They look at his face and they think he's got a fat face.
Yeah.
Cherky can move. So whether he can work or not, I think he'll be a success. Just how do they work with this system? Because you've got Cherky, Reinders, Haaland, Marmoush.
What happens to Foden? What happens to Foden next season?
What's gonna happen to Foden?
It's a big season for him next season.
Bro,
This is the thing. But remember, Pep will outcast people. He don't.
you've outcasted a player of the year.
Yeah.
Player of the year.
Yeah.
It outcasted.
Because Grealish is going as well.
Grealish got outcast.
That's what I'm saying, but I think Grealish has to go because they have to facilitate Foden in some way. So if Foden goes on the left-hand side, because where is he really playing? He's going to play on the left-hand side.
But he's more effective in the 10 though, and to the right.
Exactly, but then they got Reinders. This one thing.
Savino,
Cherky's
Savio,
probably
what's in
Savio.
Savio.
So that's the thing with Doku and Savio. For me, it's like they're in the lurch now because the system has to change now for me personally. Because if Ait Nouri's in this team, I don't know if Ait Nouri starts or not. I'm not sure yet.
Nah, he will. He will. Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's
I think they'll play Ait Nouri.
No,
Because
Guardiola. I think Guardiola play. I
he
think
gets
he'll play.
forward a lot.
I know, but
Yeah.
I feel like Ait Nouri's just the perfect Guardiola player, man. He's so good on the ball.
Because remember they got Ake there. They got
well.
Diaz there. They got Akanji there.
Yeah,
Like,
but
their back three is
John
already
Stones
there.
is going to leave, I reckon.
John Stones might leave,
I reckon he'll leave,
personally, but their options, they still listen. They got great options because they can fluctuate that team.
I think Wanori, what's his name? Alnorio, he mostly be in the bench.
Yeah,
Nah,
They're not benches.
I think he'll
Guardiola,
start a lot. I
he's-
think he'll
he's-
start a
he's
lot.
starting, bro.
He might start on the bench, but I
He's
think he'll
effective.
shout out on the bench, man.
He's very effective going forward.
yeah, and I think
effective.
with their system that they have to play now, it's like
He's good.
Marmoush put them in a position now where they have to play Marmoush and Haaland.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
can't not
agree,
play
Yeah.
Haaland.
It's-
and not, you
but
have
you know
to
what-
play both of them.
but guys,
and that's the
remember-
problem that they're going to get in them. I think.
Like we always talk about squads and everything. Like you need players, man.
No, of course,
If
of
one
course.
or two players get injured,
Yeah,
for 4 weeks,
Yeah,
6 weeks,
100%.
you need these players to come in and fill the gaps.
But
You know.
I feel like as if they don't get injured, that's the problem for me. I'm like, now you've got choice problems because Marmoush wants to start and Marmoush has to start. Haaland has to start. We've seen how Haaland plays when Marmoush is playing sometimes. He's ineffective. He's nowhere near on the ball, hardly gets a touch.
I reckon I might sell Haaland soon. You know.
Oh,
I
Haaland
can see it happening in the next couple of years.
That was gonna be my next question. Is he going to be as effective without De Bruyne? The reason why I say that as well because De Bruyne plays to his strength, finds. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
What they hope that they've done with Cherky.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
This is what I'm saying.
He's a passer. He finds you.
But that's why I have problems with it because I'm like,
Yeah.
have they got a way back? Like Cherky's not Kevin De Bruyne. And
Yeah.
even if he is as good of a player, does he just work at City like KDB worked at City? KDB working at City is a once in a lifetime kind of a player. It's like
100%.
Gerrard for Liverpool,
Yeah.
Lampard for Chelsea, Scholes for Man United. Is he going to be able to overtake or live up to that standard of what Kevin De Bruyne's already set for Man City?
That's some hard shoes to fill. And is he a passer like that, Chef?
Who Cherky?
Yeah, he's
Mate,
a great
That's
playmaker.
When I say passer, like
Yeah, in terms,
you know
in terms
you
of
know what I
creativity,
mean.
yeah, I know what you
De
mean.
Bruyne,
I don't
yeah,
think, that's what the difference is. I don't think
that-
he does.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
more like
I-
a skillful. He reminds me more of
Payet, Dimitri Payet.
and
That's who reminds me
the guy
of.
from Ben Arfa. Ben Arfa.
Ben Arfa.
Yeah, Ben Arfa. He reminds me of that type of right winger.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah,
De
but-
Bruyne we would play in he used to play deep.
Yeah, but it's
Cherky's the kind of guy that will make something out of nothing, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying for Haaland, we're talking about in the Haaland, finding Haaland.
Yeah, you know what? Listen. I'm gonna say this now. Cherky's going straight in my fantasy team next season. That's all I'm saying. Because that guy can play ball, man.
Yeah,
You can't put Man City players in your fantasy team.
Why not?
It's risky.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Bro, he'll get left out for like 2 weeks.
risky.
Yeah.
Starting Marmoush, my captain this week. Yeah.
Gordon's on the bench. Scored a hat-trick last week. He's on the bench for 2 games, bro. Foden,
Pep's
bench.
a madman.
And that's the thing, like, you're naming all them forwards, and then you got Doku and Savio that's still lurking around there, and they were the future buys, and they were supposed to be youngsters that they were buying for the future. For me, I've said to them, like to the Man City fans I'm like, yo, they're not that great. That Doku and Savio, their output this year, Doku had like 4 assists in 1 game. Outside of that, I think he got like 3 assists throughout the whole rest of the season. Like, it weren't great. So, I think for me personally, I'll be trying to get rid of one of the 2 of them.
Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do.
Well, Grealish is on the way out. It's linked to Spurs, Everton, Italy,
Napoli, I think.
What do you reckon? Where do you reckon he'll go to?
Wherever
What do you reckon would be a good move?
wherever
for Grealish?
wherever the best nightclubs are. Wherever the best movies are. I'm telling you, wherever he's got a good time, he's there.
We were saying that today. Frank was like, if in the earlier we had a conversation about we need to have tea. Shout out Clean Tea Company for that thing. I was like, if you had Grealish on the show, you don't want no tea, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It'd be meetings at the pub next door,
Some
innit?
shots on the NBA.
But which would be a good move for Grealish though? I reckon Napoli. You know,
Yeah. Do you know what? I'd like to see him go somewhere where he can express himself again, man.
you want to see that Grealish, that
Yeah,
big Grealish.
a proper
The
player.
stop-starty kind of player that he is, he'd probably fit Italy well.
Yeah.
He'd probably do well in like an AC Milan side. Someone like that. Go and play with a couple of players that are from England.
Yeah.
Because you'll at least fit in with a couple of them there. Maybe an AC Milan.
AC Milan works. Do you know what? Because there's so much left wingers moving around.
Because Leao should be looking at a move.
He said he wants out as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Are
probably,
you guys not linked with Rafa Leao?
we was linked to him before. I don't know if they'd go
Not
down
anymore.
that route now. Yeah, because I think for the style of what Maresca wants, he wants players working back.
Yeah.
He ain't working back.
He ain't working back
Yeah, he
for
ain't
no
working
one.
back.
Yeah, I reckon Grealish will go where a left winger goes from. So wherever a top left winger moves, like a Nico,
He'd probably fit in, yeah.
He will almost be a part. You know them
Yeah,
triangle
like,
deals.
yeah.
Something like
It'd be
that.
interesting to see where he goes, man. But I do want to see Grealish. Like, I don't know, man. I still think he's only 30, isn't he? I still think he's got enough to offer.
He's got a couple of years.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
His
Yeah,
style's never been to be reliant on speed.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's
it's
always
just
hold up play,
Yeah,
strength.
just ball carrying, manipulating the ball and that.
I remember when he was at Villa, he was cold.
He was second most foul player in the league behind Hazard. Hazard was the most foul player
That's
in the
no
league.
joke. That's no joke.
And that was hard to be up there close to Hazard.
What do you think it was with Pep? Do you think Pep just I'm not gonna say the word, but do you reckon he's just?
We know Pep's he's a control freak, isn't he?
Yeah.
He likes things done his way.
Yeah, he likes yes sir kind of guys.
Yeah, even Arteta, you can see that's what Arteta's learnt from Pep. Arteta's like that as well. So I don't know. For me, managers, I like managers that give the players a bit of freedom on the pitch to let them do what they need to do, as long as they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. All right, moving on. Liverpool linked to. They're
But-
struggling to get him over the line now. So
That is one expensive
Do
signing.
you
Man.
reckon he's
355k a week, Florian
and they want
Wirtz.
For who? Florian Wirtz.
Wirtz.
and they want 150
No.
for a minute.
150 million euros, yeah.
I don't think he's worth.
No, man, he's not. I'm
Do you know what the
sorry,
thing is? I
man.
think they realise that with Soboslai there, I don't know if they think they're like, yo, we need someone that's just way more creative.
Yeah,
And
but bro,
Not 400. Not.
It's not
no,
that money.
What's it? 130. 130. What's on?
he's not worth that money.
No way.
Yeah,
man.
because they were even like all the Man City fans were gassing like, "Huh, you lot are paying 150 thing for him.
And
We
we
paid £5, five times less, and he's
30
giving
mil.
you giving this guy nutmegs."
yeah, what,
the other
Turkey?
day. Yeah,
And I think they complete one dribble or something like that.
exactly. So
Bro, it's
You
just-
can't. I don't know, man.
I think Wirtz is one of those boys that is good player, but is he world class level? I don't know yet. Still, he's a top quality player. I just don't know if he's capable of putting that pressure on his shoulders like
you
that.
wouldn't even take him over Musiala.
Nah, no chance.
Nah, no way.
Musiala's my guy, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Musiala is
Yeah.
for me the best attacking midfielder in world football.
Wow, that's a big statement.
That's a big statement.
Best young attacking midfielder.
Yeah, best young attacking midfielder, easily best young attacking midfielder. I can't see anybody better than him. I don't
Fair enough.
hardly anybody in world football I think is better.
No,
than
he's.
Musiala.
Listen, I rate him very. Like I said, I rate him above Wirtz, definitely.
Elise's obviously come there now, and he's playing off the right hand side of it, and it's been a bit. Bayern are a bit disjointed with how they play anyway, but yeah, for me, when Musiala's playing in that role, different gravy.
He's class. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's class. But I wouldn't even put Musiala at that price. By the way, I don't even think he's worth that price. 130 odd million. For me, if you're gonna pay, you think he is?
Yeah, I think he's worth that.
Nah, man. For me, if look,
who's got what's the value of what's your max value of the best player in the world in that position? That's what you have to ask yourself. How much would you pay for a player 27 and younger that's the best number 10 in world football? Because that's why I say always base it, because I'm like, players of positions have caps, I'd say, on their value.
Do you know what? It's a tough question because you're talking about players now. I don't think they're as talented as... Like, I look at someone like Ray and Cherky, who's obviously nowhere near that value, but he's got so much ability and talent on the ball. Technically, he's so he's so good. No, but I have seen it. I saw him destroy us for Leon. You know what I mean?
But that's the point of valuation. It's like Ekitike before this season was worth 20 million quid. Now we've got to pay 78 million pounds.
I mean, he's got to do it. Shirky have done it on a high level.
Musiala's been doing it for a hot minute.
You've been seeing it.
For national side and for Bayern Munich.
You've been seeing him.
I don't know, man. For me, if you're paying that much money, you want to get 50 odd goals and assists from a player every season, guaranteed. Like, for example, a 27-year... Okay, he's a striker. He's not a... But Harry Kane, for example, if it was 27, 28, that's what you're talking 150 mil.
Okay, but then Lamine Yamal, who's put up the similar numbers of a Cole Palmer, or not even a Cole Palmer, I could give you like multiple wingers probably in the world that have put up 23 GA throughout the season. It's not 130 million pounds, but you'd spend 160 on Lamine Yamal.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, Lamine Yamal, you're putting him in that bracket. Yeah. But because of his age, you got to take his age into account as well. We don't know how good this boy can become. He could become something absolutely out of this world. For me, this is going to be a very, very big statement for me to make. I feel like at their age, at this point in time, Lamine Yamal was better than what Messi was at that age, at that time.
Of course
at 17.
Yeah, of course.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was.
No. At the age of 17 going on 18.
Nah, because Messi popped on the scene a good couple of years after that.
Yeah.
Messi was 16.
No, he wasn't. Ronaldinho was the best player in the world at the time.
Messi wasn't the best.
Messi wasn't even 16.
No, but when he first started,
he was 17. He was 17.
When he broke into Barcelona.
He was 17.
But when he started, like I remember when he came on against us in the Champions League, when Del Horno was playing left back for us.
When 16, when he
I'm sure he was 17. I'm sure he was 17.
But
anyway,
it might have been debut at 17, but not he never hit the ground running at 17.
Lamine Yamal's already got 100 appearances, more than 100 appearances for Barcelona
17.
at 17. That is crazy.
Yeah, but times have changed, bro.
Yeah, I understand that. But anyway, so yeah, I get that. For me, you're talking about the premium talent of Waffle. But then again, you're saying that you rate Musiala at that level. You're saying he's the best
I
anyway.
He's one
So
of the best
fair enough.
Because I just... People are very short-term basis, and they don't consider what people have been doing for the last 3 years.
No. I rate Musiala very, very highly, but I'd say I put him at the 90 million pound, 90 to 100 million pound bracket tops.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But he started really at 18.
Yeah, he started to. He was just showing moments at 17. He was coming on a sub.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Got a goal.
Julie and Eto'o and Ronaldinho.
Yeah, they had ballers. Yeah, they had ballers.
That was their three, really.
That's what I'm saying. Football is different there, man.
But that's what I'm saying. At 17 already, Lamine's already
he's established. You're talking about a Ballon d'Or at 17.
Yeah, but football's whack.
No, it is whack.
Yeah.
That's why. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That's why we're putting them in that conversation.
But that's why it's hard, man. Because when you talk about generational players, and then you look at the generation that they're in, it's like that's why they're called generational, because they're supposed to being able to play with any generation in the past. Yeah. So if Lamine's generational, he would have been able to play amongst these kind of guys. So,
yeah, I agree.
I reckon he's when you say that, that's calm. All right, cool. We're gonna Tottenham.
Who bloody cares about that?
Big up on the Tottenham fans. No disrespect, man.
Sorry, I'm Chelsea, man. I'm Chelsea through and through. Like it's there.
I'm a gooner,
it's tatted on me here. You know.
I'm a gooner, but I gotta respect you guys, okay? But yeah.
But they're in a problem now because they need a manager, and the manager has to come in and he has to establish what players he wants.
Thomas Frank, what's going on? I think he's agreed. I reckon he's gonna be over the line in the next 4 years.
Yeah, it'll get done.
They definitely need a makeshift of midfielders. They don't know who to play. They don't know whether it's Bergvall and Bentancur or whether it's Papasar and Basuma. And none of them seem to be elitist in the midfield anyway, for me personally. They're wingers. They obviously signed Matthias Tell. Is Tell going to be a part of his...
Is he? It's not permanent though, is he?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I think he was on an obligation? Obligations don't even mean obligations nowadays. Yeah. We were obligated to pay,
saw that, and
we paid £5 million as a fee. So I don't obligation to. You know when people say obligation, That means you have to
Yeah,
buy it.
yeah.
There's no get out clauses.
Yeah.
There needs to be a new word made.
Yeah.
Not partly obligated.
Yeah, partly obligated.
obligated.
Yeah. Well, it was an option, wasn't it? Option to buy. Like they should just keep it as option
Yeah,
to
just
buy
keep it
rather
as
than
option to buy as
yeah.
than saying obligated, because then you look like an idiot when
Yeah.
you don't have to keep
100%.
it.
Do you reckon Thomas Frank does well at Tottenham?
Yeah.
I think he's a good manager, man.
They're saying I was reading some comments today. They're saying Brentford, they're a decent team, but they're not this out of this world team.
Yeah, he's turned players that aren't necessarily world beaters into decent players, and they play a good system.
Yeah, but when did they finish in the league? I think they were saying like he hasn't got
Brentford
them.
were like 8th, weren't they?
No, I think they were lower than that. I think they were like 10th or 11th.
Is
something.
it? I
Yeah.
thought they were on the push for the Europa League spaces.
Yeah, this is what
Because
they
last game of the season they were supposed to have a chance to get 8th. I'm pretty sure they had a chance to get 8th.
They finished 10th. They finished
But
10th.
how many points did they finish behind 9th and 8th?
I'll tell you now.
Because I think they didn't win last game.
56 joint points on Bournemouth in 9th, but they were 5 points behind Brighton, who finished on
That's this
61.
season here,
Yeah. So last game of the season, because Brighton needed to beat Tottenham, and Brighton beat Tottenham.
Yeah.
And Brentford also had a chance of winning.
That's what these fans are saying now. They're saying they're not finishing like. So they're a good side, but they're not finishing high up in the table.
They're not an
to where
exceptional team,
Tottenham want to be, kind of thing. So they're saying,
But
is he going to do well at
But
Tottenham?
you got to consider about Tottenham this season. Like they've had their centre halves out for the whole of the season. That's how it is. But Van der Ven's been out. Romero's been out. They've had Archie Gray playing centre half. They've had like Solanke half fit throughout the most of the season as well. Hasn't it? I think Solanke's only played half the season.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many games Solanke's played, but.
I'm hearing that a lot
Johnson's in there.
of the Tottenham players are really pissed off with the fact that he's been sacked. That tells you a lot.
Andrew's gone.
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Well, they got Kulusevski, as well, to come back. Remember, Kulusevski's been out for ages. So, there's players. Like, Kulusevski was probably their best player at a time. Madison obviously has been out.
Always injured though, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. But these are the kind of players that they can fiddle around with. And if they got a fit team as well next year starting, boy, like Jed Spence coming to their team. Pedro Porro's there. They've got players there.
Yeah.
But he likes the players.
Yeah, of course.
Fit his system.
No, I think they'll sell.
You understand what I'm saying? All of this is going to come into play now. Who does he want to keep? Who fits? Who goes on the bench now? Who's going to be upset?
I think Thomas Frank's just a good enough coach anyway. Good managers are given teams and they work with what they're given. Top managers ain't managers that get given the luxury of buying what they have to buy, because you're coming to a club. You're an individual. You're paid as a manager to come into a team and work with what you're given. We will allow you to pick over the years and develop the team, like develop players or bring players in that you want to bring in for yourself. But this ain't we buy you and all of our club's philosophy has now gone around you as a manager. You have to deal with what we have.
You've got to get the best out of the players as well.
Because why are you signing a job for? You think it's going to be you're taking slack like Ruben Amorim done for the whole year. He came in, half of the players weren't his players. You as a good manager have to cope with what you have. You can't just come and be arrogant, say, I'm playing my system. If people can't work with this system, you're out the door. It don't work like that. Top managers can come in and say, right, I'm going to try and cope with what I have, build a system around the team I have, and let's try and find it work. Thomas Tuchel done that with Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's why we respected Thomas Tuchel massively.
Yeah.
He came and he said, I can't play forward and back with these lot. These lot are shit. We need 5 defenders. Like, we have to be secure here. And the players that we do have, they can facilitate these positions and play it how you're supposed to play in a back 5. So, it's Frank, for me, I think he'd be able to turn it around for them.
We'll see. They're saying not fans.
Not this Frank, but Thomas.
I was going to say, man, I don't remember having an interview at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But,
What do you reckon, Frank?
about Thomas Frank?
No,
I like him. I was looking at some article recently, and statistically, he's massively overachieving with the Brentford team. Because remember, Brentford had a lot of injuries, by the way, this season. They had a lot of injuries as well. But what they're saying is, like, he's not just this season, the last 2 or 3 years, they sold Ollie Watkins, they sold Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
They've had injuries this season, but they're always adapting to those and solving those problems. And that comes down to the manager.
But remember, Brentford's it's like a no pressure team.
No, I agree.
The manager.
Yeah.
What are they really trying to? What are they playing for? European football.
Yeah.
Europa League at the max. Europa Conference.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. Tottenham on the other hand, there's a lot of pressure.
But you know what though? You say that, bro, and like, look at the clubs around you. They're all spending money. They've all got a lot of money to spend. Like we said this last time, Brighton have got, forget the top 6, top 8, whatever it is. Brighton have got money. Bournemouth have got money. Everton are probably going to get money now because they're with their new stadium. You know what I mean? Like even the new clubs that come up, they tend to spend a bit of money. You got Leeds who are going to be in the Premier League next season. They're a big club.
Well,
They'll want to spend money.
We got top 5 still probably for next year for Champions League football.
Yeah,
So I think 5 places will still again battle it out for the Champions League. So look, Man United's expectation is to want to be back at least in Champions League football, and for them to come from where they've come from, it's a tough task. And if you're Tottenham, they're not crazy thinkers and believers of the fact that they probably get top 5 guaranteed, or they think that they deserve to get it because they know that they're in Champions League as well. So they've got to manage the squad. But when you look at the teams around him, they're also not stupid to say, right, well, Chelsea have spent bundles, Arsenal are better, Man City are better, Liverpool are better. They're a 5th place team at best if they want to be back to where they want to be, same as Man United. If I was Man United and Tottenham, from what they've come from, I'm like, give me 5th. Yeah. I'll die for 5th.
Take Champions League.
Of course.
I'll beg for 5th.
I'll take Europa League next season. 100% I'll take Europa League next season.
He's going to finish top half.
This is how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, mate. What's your lot's thoughts on Liverpool? I know we touched on Verts, but just in general, do you think they'll struggle next? Not struggle, but do you think they'll win the league next season? Let's say again.
No, I don't think. Like I said, I think Arsenal win the league if they get the signing right.
I'm not saying a word.
That's how Arsenal fans have been.
It's been burnt a lot.
I've been a bigger advocate for Arsenal winning the league next year than Arsenal fans have been.
Well, I thought they win the league this year. To be fair,
Neville's backing them again as well. He's like, I backed them already. I got to back them again. I'm not saying a word. Liverpool.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know, man.
If they get
Trent
Kirkes,
is a massive miss, man. I don't care who they replace him with. Trent's a massive miss.
I don't think so, man.
It's like KDB with Cherky.
Yeah.
Like you can get in a top defender, but is it Trent?
Is it Trent? Remember, Trent's cold, bro.
Yeah, man.
You're forgetting. People forget how good Trent is.
I'm sorry. I will never ever rate that guy like fully. I just. As a wing back, he'd be exceptional. Don't get me wrong, but as a right back, the amount of times I've seen that guy get violated on the pitch.
No, but what he does going forward though.
We see him get violated against top opposition players or top teams, and then Champions League football. That's what we base Trent on.
Wasn't it Doku that absolutely destroyed him?
Exactly.
Was it Doku?
But
Doku's not. He's not a top player, is he?
He's a skillful winger.
Doku has completed probably the most take-ons in the league than any other winger. But he's a Man City winger. Do you get it? I'm saying against most teams when they're in possession of the ball and they dominate teams and dominate games, he's not even at right back.
You know what, Trent, when he first burst onto the scene, the first 3-4 years, it was exceptional, unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like quality, like the amount of assists and everything he's getting. Don't get me wrong, on the ball, he's unbelievable. The way he pings the ball, he put it on. You know what I mean? He, if you're standing 150 yards away, say smack me on the head, you know what I mean?
He's the closest thing with like David Beckham.
Yeah, exactly. But as an all-round player, you're a right back, bro. Like, chill. You know what I mean? Like
but that's not
I've seen Konate fighting for his life on that pitch with Trent next to him.
Of course. And this is the thing about fitness is like, do they have the depth if they hit injuries like how Arsenal have hit injuries, if City hit injuries?
Who's at Liverpool?
Yeah, if Konate gets injured,
or even Van Dijk.
Or Van Dijk gets injured,
Salah.
Come on, mate.
Remember they had a good run this year, no injuries.
Yeah,
everybody else was finito.
And they never even had a number 9 really.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez is not a number 9.
No,
he's not good enough.
That guy, he needs to get sold.
I think with the points they finished on this year, don't get me wrong, they took their foot off the pedal the last 4 games. They didn't need to win it. They already had it in the bag. They might have had more points, but I just don't think Arsenal are going to be as bad as they did last year, and City obviously are going to be better.
We had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, of course.
We had a lot of bad luck as well last year.
The pressure of teams around them doing as well as what they're going to be doing, mentality of and fear of other teams doing well, it changes the way that you approach games and how you play as a team.
Yeah.
So with Arsenal and Man City coming back, hopefully we'll have the most entertaining. I think this has been the most boring league.
Yeah, it has. Of course it has.
This year in the Premier League history, but maybe we now will get the best challenging league title.
It's lining up to be that way.
It's lining up to be. City are back, Arsenal are back, Liverpool should
United will be back next season.
And United are back.
And that's a wrap, guys.
I think that takes the end.
Right, let's leave it.
Wrap up. Time's up.
We do for real.
Yeah, man.
But I enjoyed that. And guys, that was the On The Bench podcast. Like, subscribe, comment, and also check out the Clean Tea Company. Check them out. And pick up Sugar Sean in the building. Thank you for coming on as well.
Yeah, of course, man.
Always
100%.
love, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Gonna plug your socials and stuff?
Yes, well, obviously, a video just came out, like we were talking about before the pod. I just done a video with the Sun Sport, so it's like the Sportshire Chamber, it's called. A little play on the word of torture, but yeah, it's just all of the players, all of the fans being able to try and get you to break character and then you have to do a forfeit through it. So
How do we get on this? What, don't
Hey,
plug
listen,
Sky, who is it? Sun?
it's
Sky?
Sunsport, yeah, Sunsport.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I watched it earlier.
Yeah.
It was good fun, man.
Yeah, it's good fun.
It
Don't
was
bring
really
it
fun.
so-
You on?
Yeah, like you'll catch me on a few episodes here
Yeah.
and there of different things that come out,
Sick.
and yeah, I've been doing some work with Betfair and stuff like that as well individually.
Sick,
So
man, doing well,
hopefully there's some more work to come through next year. So yeah, just keep an eye out on my channel.
Well done, mate. Quality.
Frankie boy, any words for the people? Or Man United?
Hopefully, the next time I'm sat in this seat, we'll have Gyökeres and Mbumo in the bag. Mbumo definitely, but Gyökeres might take a bit more time.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Guys, see you next
Thanks,
week.
guys.
Yep.
Peace. My button's dead. Bumble cloud.